Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with SwiftCover.com. For car insurance, don't wait in line, go online. Get a life. Get Swift Covered.
Absolute Radio.
So this is the Frank Skinner podcast on Absolute. I'm with Gareth and Emily, or indeed Emily and Gareth, who present the show with me. Gareth, you're a bit of a podcast enthusiast.
Yeah, I love podcasts. I listen to a lot of them. It's very so. Welcome to the podcast. You two don't really know what one is, do you?
No, hold on. I did a very successful series of World Cup.
Oh, that's right.
Podcasts.
Yeah, no.
We were top of the. We had 1 million downloads, for God's sake.
I don't really. It's just too much technology. I don't like it. I like men to do that.
Yeah.
They can download my podcast.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever listened to one in my life, but
just
people
make
do.
them.
I just make them. That's the kind of guy I am. You did one, didn't you?
Well, I did an internet. Very close to when I first started doing stand-up, I did an internet radio show on Play Vibes, which was all kind of. It was mostly like kind of very.
Sounds
hard.
quite urban.
Yes, it was. It was all like heavy hip hop and like reggae and stuff, and then me doing the comedy hour, and it was run out of a basement in Brixton.
Right.
Deep underground in Brixton. And I did it with a mate of mine called Dave, and we called him Non-Comedy Dave because he wasn't funny.
Right.
And he's just texted me and said, "Oi, who's this Frank Skinner Johnny come lately? I'm hurt."
Well, I think you should have called him Quite Funny Comedy
Do you think
Dave.
so?
Would it be Quite Comedy Dave?
Yeah, that'll do.
Little bit Comedy Dave.
Yeah. Good
yeah,
on a text.
Good on, yeah. So here we are. This is the podcast. This
So
is exciting.
what it is, it's basically it's the show without the music, which I know a lot of people would. That's how they'd like it best.
Yeah.
because I get to play some of my own music on the show, which always causes consternation, and people say things like, "Where's Whitesnake?" this week.
And good thing we had Ben Miller on this week. He was
We did
excellent.
have Ben Miller.
He was great.
He was great.
He was really fashionable as well. I don't know why I sound surprised.
He had a
But
nice
he was
tank top.
rocking a look.
It's because he's posh. You expect him to be in a tweed jacket and
Yeah, I did.
and all that. But no, he was very fashionable indeed.
We talked about phobias.
Yes.
That's good. So you're a bit of a technophobe.
We had people
I'm
phone in.
everything
You've
phobe, yeah.
podcast.
Like a woman phoned in who was frightened of people dressed up as foxes. So that's something to look forward to. I think we should just get on with it. I'm
let's
keen
go
to
for
hear
it.
it now.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the podcast.
Absolute.
It's the Dancing on Ice final this weekend, which I've become excited about, even though I've never seen Dancing on Ice in my life.
really?
You know, it's
Have
in
you
the
ever watched
papers. Sam. No, I've never watched it.
Really?
I don't think you get the full idea of it from the papers. I think there's more to it.
Well, I don't know. I can guess what it is from the title.
Yeah.
I mean, how novel can it be? The fact that Donal McIntyre is in the final is completely...
Now, who is he again?
He's the bloke that used to do undercover television shows.
Until he got too famous
Right.
to do undercover anymore.
Yeah, exactly. He was a celebrity undercover
That was
journalist,
his-
which is a very short-lived career.
That was his route to ice skating. Did he always want to do the ice skating? Is that why he got...
Well, I think he's doing a big story on Ray Quinn,
yeah.
and the whole thing has been an elaborate
He's really
hoax.
a little woman.
No, he's
Ray
really
Quinn.
he's really quite a tall bloke.
I love Ray
The whole
Quinn.
thing's been a hoax to get
Just
people on his
underneath.
side.
He's
Yeah.
really hot, I think.
Ray
Is that what
Quinn?
the kids say?
Oh,
Hot.
don't be ridiculous.
He
He's a
is,
sort of a
Frank.
travel gigolo. You can put him in your handbag. No, I find him a
I
bit...
think he's quite handsome now.
I like
No.
Yeah.
I really need to watch it. You like
I
him?
wanted him to win X Factor. This Leona Lewis. What has she got?
Yeah.
What has she
can't
done
even
since?
skate.
What has she done since? Nothing. I wanted Ray to win with his swing stylings.
Yeah.
No, I find him a little bit... I had an experience. I was doing a gig, I think in Middlesbrough, and this very attractive young woman said to me, "Would you sign my stomach?" And I said, "Certainly."
And she just had an operation. They held it up to you
It was
in
in a-
like
it was in
a
a cast.
bucket.
And she lifted up her T-shirt, and she had like a very, tightly defined stomach.
Yeah.
And it had already been signed by Ray Quinn. Obviously much lower than where I was going to, because he could only reach... He couldn't make the navel. But I think he used the navel as a dot for the eye in Quinn, which was quite clever of him. But it put me off a bit. I thought, I'm second to Ray Quinn on
sloppy
a
seconds to
teenage
Ray.
stomach. which is something. So you're backing Ray. If I watch it,
I'm so backing Ray.
And who's the other one? Isn't it Kevin Peterson's girlfriend? Is the other
Jessica off of Liberty X.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jessica Offal.
Yeah.
I thought you was going to say.
Jessica off of.
Okay, yes.
Yeah,
but she goes out with Kevin Peterson.
She's married to him, I believe.
Yeah, same thing. Goes out. Actually, you stop going out with people when you marry them. Don't you? Mate, you stay in with them then and go out with friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, well, I'm backing her because of the cricket connection. So maybe we can have a bet on it or something.
Okay.
Donal, we still don't know if he'll turn up. He could. Donal used to do things like he used to do these big exposés where he found out that supermodels took drugs and stuff like that, and you think, wow, God, this is earth-shattering. Well done, Donal. So I think skating was probably the way forward for him. It's one of those, there's a whole series of programmes on the telly that I have only ever seen the last 2 minutes of. Like when I was a kid, I used to see the last 2 minutes of that thing about things that were going to be in the future. What was it called?
Tomorrow's World.
Tomorrow's World, because it was just on before Top of the Pops.
Oh, right.
So when I came on, they'd be like pushing this cart that made drinks. A robot hand was making drinks, and they'd say, "We'll be back next week." And then into Top of the Pops. Now it's Coast. I have only ever seen the last 2 minutes of Coast. Ever. But I'm sure it's
got
a
the
lovely
gist
programme.
of it, though, I'm sure.
Oh, I've got it. There's a great picture of Gemma. Do you know Gemma Arterton, who was in St Trinian's films? Gareth, what do you know about popular culture?
I know about Oasis.
Do you know what Spanx are?
Spanx? No, I don't think I do.
I bet Emily does.
I bet I do.
And I'm not saying that in an
I hope
accusing
that wasn't
way.
rude.
No, don't.
I do know what they are, yeah. They're sort of control top pants, gentlemen, which hold you in nicely. And also they stop you getting VPL. Do you know what that is, Gareth?
Visible panty line.
Very good.
Well done.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you said they hold in the top, don't they hold in the whole lot of you?
They hold in all that area.
Because there's a picture of Gemma Arterton. It says in the Daily Mail that the last time she's looking really slim, and we've discovered the secret because she's getting out of her car and you can see her Spanx. Anyone watching this on webcam, I'm holding up the picture for you. like you'll be able to see the detail of it. And it says she's come a long way. Last time we saw her, she was sporting signs of a double chin. A suggestion that there's some sort of Spanx polo neck jumper.
Yeah, she should stick
wear.
those pants on her head.
That,
She can look through
that's
one
what
of
they're
the
saying. Wear them like a scarf. But I think I know they're supposed to be just to kind of hidden support government. Government. What was the word I was trying to say? Garment. That'll do. But I find them, I have to say, incredibly sexy. There's something about flesh pink underwear. It just looks like it shouldn't be seen. It looks like a secret.
Okay.
It's not for men to see.
Oh, well, that's lovely to know.
Yeah. Oh, good. So
it's when they take them off there when there's the problem, isn't it, Frank?
No. Do you know what time of the morning it is? Have you not been awake for the last few months? Have you never heard of Russell Brand or Jonathan Ross? For God's sake.
Absolute.
That's the Kings of Leon. Use somebody.
Good advice, always.
Yeah, I think so.
We were looking at Wicked Whispers, weren't we? There was a Wicked Whispers this week that says, which funny man likes to use the horse tranquilizer ketamine? That's weird. Who do you think that might be, Emily?
I don't know.
Wait, Frank?
I think that's the first ever live comedy sketch on Absolute Radio.
Drop! Over the airwaves, breaking new ground.
Yeah. Radio 4 are quaking in their boots. No, but I don't know if we can keep up with this. Well, I thought it went quite well.
I thought it went very well.
Yeah,
I was worried because it's not that easy to do the... But
I thought it came quite naturally.
Well, I had a little... I mean, I hope people even watching on the camcorder thought, oh, has he gone into a bit of a trance from his horse tranquilizer? I thought there was a moment there of tension from the... Anyway, so what was we talking... Oh, yeah, we were talking about the fact that last week we should have done one of those things that proper radio programmes do.
Rehearse?
Yeah, no, I don't know that. But they set up a phone-in so that the people who are listening can phone in and tell us their hilarious things. And I like that because I like the interactive thing. But I didn't set it up until just before the end of the show. So everyone phoned in. I was at home. And so that was no good at all. So I think we should set one up early on. So you had an idea, Em, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm quite obsessed by strange phobias because I read about this woman in the paper who's phobic about knees. which I think is quite a strange thing to have a phobia about. So much so that she can't watch films with knees in them, which must limit her choices somewhat.
I'm trying to think of a film that hasn't got a knee.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's really exposed knees that she's terrified of. And she had to split up with the boyfriend because his knees used to dig into her.
Talking Heads, that was Alan Bennett plays Talking Heads, and I don't think they had any knees in them. There's a security man just appeared at the window and he's pointing in like something really bad has happened. So I'm slightly worried now that we're hostages. But maybe he's just scared of knees and he's just come up and said, please stop saying that. That can't be real because you've got knees.
Yeah. Does it mean she can't crouch?
It means she can't wear a miniskirt.
Yeah. No, she doesn't.
Imagine if Ray Quinn was scared of knees. Life would be a nightmare, wouldn't it? Constantly confronted by your arch enemy.
Ray's fearless. He has no fear.
Do you think that can be a proper phobia?
No, it's very odd,
I've got a few strange ones. I'm quite neurotic, so I've got hundreds of strange things like that.
Well, what I'm going to do is, if you've got a strange phobia, and don't just make it up, right? I mean, it has to be something that's real.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to test that, but we might send one round your house, for example, if it's something you're frightened of. You can phone us on 033 0123 12 15. Or you can text us on 81215, or you can go to the website and email us on absoluteradio.co.uk/Frank Skinner. What is your odd phobia, Emily?
Okay, one of the many is I don't like. I've got an absolute. I can't even mention it. It makes me feel so sick. It's cartoon characters interacting with human beings. Oh, it's gross.
Yeah, I can see that would.
So, like in a film,
like Roger Rabbit.
Oh,
like
don't
Roger
even
Rabbit.
say that's horrible. I saw about 2 minutes of it, and I just had to. I couldn't watch any more of it. It just makes me feel so ill.
But you're not frightened, though. It's not a fear, is it? It's a repulsion.
I'm a bit grossed out by it.
That is weird.
What about a Mary Poppins?
Oh, that penguin thing. That is disgusting. When they do a dance with
the the penguin thing's disgusting. But I mean, some of it is all right. I think most people now are agreed that the penguin thing in Mary Poppins is disgusting.
Have you ever been approached by a cartoon character in real life?
No, but that's what I hate it when they have cartoon characters being a bit flirty with the actresses as well.
Oh. Yes.
There was a Paula Abdul video for Opposites Attract with that is the worst thing. I can't ever watch that.
Who would have thought that we could be lovers?
Horrible.
Well, anyway, if you've there's more of these because I think would probably qualify as a phobia, which I'll tell you about in a minute. But I think we should encourage people to call in. So if you've got an odd phobia, I really do feel like a DJ now. If you've got an odd for that number again, 03301 23 12 15. Mate.
Absolute.
Here we are on Absolute Radio. It's Frank Skinner with Gareth and Emily. This is the home of the no repeat guarantee. I repeat, the home of the no repeat guarantee. So, Gareth, are the texts and emails flooding in?
They are flooding in, yeah. And there's quite a lot of people who just seem to like slagging people off, right? The first one, Mary Jane Bell.
Don't get up! Don't ever lose your temper on that.
Honestly, Mary Jane
Bell, wasn't she some murderer?
Well,
she
maybe
was
we should be nicer to her then, really?
Oh, yeah, be nicer to her.
Well, she says, there are 3 no marks on the above show running down Ray Quinn. Remind me exactly what talent either of you have.
Well, if you leave your address, Mary Jane, we'll send you CVs.
Shut up, Mary Jane Bell. Why, if you can't text anything nice, why text anything?
Just take it easy. Gareth's a bit sensitive. They're allowed, they're allowed their opinions.
We've had some great
Just because she's in a high security prison,
that's my
phobia. That person.
My phobia is of people who want to take negative things into the radio.
Right.
Anyway, so I've got some phobias.
You have?
Yeah. Tina says, I'm terrified of people dressed up as foxes.
So weird.
Hate that TV ad with the foxy fox. Tina.
The bingo thing. Foxy Bingo.
Oh, right. Is that a person dressed up or an animation? I can't remember.
I don't think it's a real fox in a suit.
What's her view on Dr. Fox?
I don't know. Let us know.
Let us
Tina,
know,
what
Tina.
you think about Dr. Fox.
I'm just trying to think how often you see people dressed up as a fox. Maybe she lives in Leicester.
Probably more often than you see cartoon characters walking around in everyday life, Emily.
Don't mention it.
Emily is on webcam 3, by the way, everyone, if you want to have a look at Emily. And
you are on webcam
She's
now.
available at the moment. Which, so
we're going to send... We're going to see if we can put a cartoon character on webcam to me with you.
Sarah says...
So you wouldn't even go out with a cartoon character?
Don't say that, Frank. It's gross.
Okay, what does Sarah say? Who's Sarah?
Sarah, she's a person who texted in.
Oh, okay.
I'm freaked out by cooking jacket potatoes en masse. Any more than about 20 cooking at once just scares me. I used to have to pass the canteen to get them to my office at work and used to have to run through because I always had about 100 on the go.
Why? Because there's like a big potatoey grave.
Yeah,
is that what she did?
No, that's weird, isn't it? Thank you, listeners.
Hold on, I think the potatoey grave is something you've added to this. She just doesn't like them. I don't like the potatoey grave at all.
John in Fulham hates the noise of the freezer, which is... I guess the little buzz the freezer makes.
Yeah, I know the way it suddenly comes on, Rich in Birmingham
has a phobia of Skinner's music collection. Shut up, Rich in Birmingham.
Yeah, Rich in Birmingham being so negative. Oh, I probably know him as well.
Chris is phobic of salad, vegetables, particularly lettuce.
Isn't that just Kerry Katona?
Why?
Phobic of vegetable, salad and lettuce.
Oh, absolute.
I tell you what, we should get people phoning about. I've been offered Question Time. You know, they have people on Question Time who aren't politicians.
Yeah.
So they've asked me to do it. And I don't know, Fern Britton was on this week. Personally, when I'm at home, and I'm not in any way disrespecting Fern Britton as a human being, but when I see her on Question Time, I spend quite a bit of time thinking, what do you know about it? Which is like when Will Young was on, I thought the same thing. So I don't know, people are going to be doing that to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting, though, because politicians, you know what they're going to say. They're going to say whatever they're supposed to.
Nothing is what they're going to say.
Yeah, they don't really have their own opinion. So it's cool to have people who aren't partisan.
But who don't really know about anything.
Yeah.
Dizzy Rascal was good on Newsnight.
Dizzy Rascal was on Newsnight?
He was interviewed by Jeremy Paxman about Barack Obama, and he said, Mr. Rascal, do you consider... He did.
He never said Mr. Rascal.
Yeah. I promise he said Mr. Rascal.
Oh, I love that. Well, maybe I will do it. I think if there's anyone at home who's got an opinion on whether I should do it or not, I think I'm going to start doing that every week. Any job offers I get, I'm going to run them by the British public. That seems to make sense to me.
Absolute.
That was Part Life by Blur, regarded by many as an absolute classic.
Yeah, it is. It's brilliant.
Yeah, well, that's not the opinion of Emily's niece, Mimi.
Really?
This is her critique of it.
Saved messages.
Okay, well, the song was a bit silly because it was music in the background when a man was just talking. It was just a man talking with music in the background. It sounds a bit rubbish. I mean, it's a bit stupid because the voice doesn't really go with the music. It doesn't really work that well together. I think just talking with music in the background sounds a bit boring. I mean, I didn't really like it, to be honest.
Can't argue with that. We were wrong about Part Life.
Frank, that wasn't really about Part Life, was it?
Oh.
That was about a song you played last week by The Four.
Yes, it was. Okay. But it did fit Part Life.
It did fit
Part Life, but
no,
I think they were some valuable notes that they should have given to The Four.
Yes.
And someone should have spoken up.
Well, yes. She was actually referring to a song I played called Dr. Box Letter last week, which she didn't like, Mimi. But I do like Mimi's critiques, which maybe we should try that again.
She should be a judge on X Factor.
She should.
She'd be really good.
That'd be good, a child judge. There isn't enough of that. So, yeah, I think we've got Ben Miller. I haven't even mentioned, have I, that we had Ben Miller coming in. So that's another very unprofessional thing. I'm quite excited about that because he's like a big comedy star. And I watched his TV show last night as research.
Oh, good. It's good, isn't it?
Obviously, I'm going to tell him I watch it every week. But I think it is really good, actually. So, you had a bad time, didn't you, this week, Gareth?
I did, and on Tuesday I had a gig in Northampton, and it was just dreadful. I died badly. And I was comparing. I've had bad gigs before, but when you're comparing, and
you're supposed to keep coming back,
you're supposed to warm people up, and you've just got nothing off the top, and there you go, and here's an act, and then you have to keep coming on.
And the acts turn against you as well, because they think, he's just dragging it down. He's making it harder.
It was the horrible thing where the compere wouldn't look. No, the headliner, when he arrived, he wouldn't look at me. I had bad gig shame all over me.
This was before you started?
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Oh, that thing! That thing when people don't mention it. That's...
Yeah, and because you don't.
Is it worse then if people don't mention it?
Well, yeah, because everyone knows that you're having a bad gig or you've had a terrible gig, and people. It's just like it's not spoken of at all. After a bereavement, when people just don't bring it up, it's like that. Yeah. Well, it is a bereavement of sorts. Well, I'm sorry, but I can't believe a bloke of your quality.
No, the listeners will be shocked.
No, exactly. I mean, for all we know, you could be dying now. At least on radio, it's a bit of a closed book. We could all be dying. A lot of people could have walked. I had this thing. I was sitting watching the cricket yesterday, and suddenly water started coming through the ceiling in my lounge, and I mean quite a lot. Wow. Through the light fitting, I mean everywhere. I was running around with like towels and this. The annoying thing about this is I live. I don't know if I should say this. I live in a penthouse. Now you think if you live in a penthouse that no one's above you.
I was going to say, aren't you on the top floor?
Oh, it doesn't work like that. You see, in don't you? I mean, anyone listening?
I think you've been sold a dodgy penthouse, Frank. Oh yeah, it's the penthouse. Frank's going to it's the penthouse.
Yeah, it's on the third floor.
Yeah,
the third floor penthouse.
It's a basement.
I like that you're going to do observation comedy about a penthouse. So don't you just hate it?
I was thinking we might have it as a phone-in. Problems with your penthouse. But anyway, it turns out with a penthouse that this is not the magazine. This is where I live.
Yeah.
That they kind of slot together, so they interlock. So there's often a bit of penthouse, next door's penthouse, over the top of your penthouse, and a little bit over the top of me had a big, massive burst pipe.
Oh.
And
who is it? Is it anyone we've heard of above you?
It's Dr. Ray. Yeah, I don't know if you'd have heard of him. He's.
I don't know who that is. That's Ray Quinn's not a doctor, is he?
I doubt it very much. He's the right height for a gynaecologist.
Absolute.
And Ben Miller has just arrived. I mean, literally, he's so just arrived. He hasn't put his headphones on yet.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ben. I should say, Ben, that we haven't yet. I meant to do this. Last week we had Dave Gorman on and we realised we hadn't got a welcome for guests. You know that people whoop and applaud. They say, Ben Miller's here.
That's very low-key. I really liked that, actually.
Yeah,
but it feels slightly fake, that stuff on the radio, doesn't it? That,
yeah, but I mean, it's just like we're
everyone
not
does it.
It's just that we're just commenting. Oh, Ben Miller's here.
Hello, all right.
What's he want? So that's the general feeling. How are you?
Oh, great, yeah. Really, really well.
It's great to see you. So, Ben Miller is with us, and if you've got an anecdote, Ben, that's about 20 seconds long and ends in a massive laugh, that'd be really handy, because we're looking for a trailer.
Oh, dear me, yeah. I pick one of my deck of cracking anecdotes. No, sorry.
No, you're... Now, I know people plug things in interviews. They looked at me. There's a little corner on the kind of information sheet we get about guests, and it says, what are they plugging? They had to have an extra sheet for you. You're like
shameful,
one of those,
isn't it?
You know those blocks with 4 sockets on that you plug in, and so you can have like 4 plugs in one? You are that. Because you're doing 4 big projects.
Well, I've got this. Yeah, I'm doing moving wallpaper at the moment on ITV. I think it was on. It was
on last night.
I forgot to watch it. So,
I watched it. I taped it if you want it. If I can get you a tape.
Was it all right?
Yeah, it was on. It was very funny. It was 9 o'clock last night. It's 9 o'clock Fridays on ITV.
Yes, yeah. I went to see The Maids by Jean Genet. Forgot my thing was on. Went to see some bloody Fringe Theatre.
I don't know if you can swear. I'm already apologising for Ben Miller. I can't believe it.
And also, you can't talk about Fringe Theatre on Absolute Radio.
I think that's all right.
Jean Genet.
Yeah, that's odd because
we were saying... I didn't understand a word of it.
I
haven't been to any Fringe Theatre for, probably about 15 years. And it was really extraordinary. It's like a different world, and it was packed. It was absolutely packed. I couldn't understand a word of it. They all appeared to be... it was great.
Was it about maids?
Yeah, it was about maids. It seemed to be a bit kinky, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Like a lot of Fringe Theatre is. I'd forgotten that, actually. It can be quite...
it can.
It can be quite blue.
Yeah. Yeah. So, was there, like, nudity and all that in it?
Yeah, there was. There was, people pointing at their...
carefully.
I'm treading carefully. People pointing at their bits, that sort of thing.
Yes,
and
then the maids dusting them.
Cupping each other.
Oh, no.
It was extraordinary, actually.
I don't like that.
Yeah, you don't like that.
Not
Which
in
theatre was this on at?
This was in his house.
It was on
It's a travelling theatre company.
It was on at a theatre in Camden.
Right,
the
okay.
Etcetera Theatre, I think it's
Right.
above...
Oh, yeah.
It's above one of those on Camden.
Camden is in North London, for those of you listening outside
Yeah.
of... So, why did you go then?
I went because I had a friend of mine was in it.
Oh, I hate that.
And...
What do you mean? I hate that.
No, you know when you go back, if you've hated... I bet you didn't go back and say to them, I didn't understand a word of it, it was
I
filth.
said I loved it. I thought it was brilliant.
I love the pointing. I love the new
Actually, now I'm talking about it on a radio show, so I'm kind of... This is a mistake,
But
isn't it,
actors
really?
don't get up this early.
No,
I think
no, we'll
you'll
be fine, won't we?
So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
lied?
Well, I mean, I did enjoy it. I just didn't
come
understand.
on, you've already admitted it. Do you want us to play it back? Or are you Richard Nixon?
I feel like...
Do you think this will be a play? Skinner Miller in the years to come about this interview?
Oh, no. Oh, no. No, no, no.
Well, anyway, we plugged that. Anyway, you plugged something you're not even in. Aren't you got enough plugging to do.
Oh,
so
no.
Moving Wallpaper is, in case anyone's never seen it, it used to be, in its first series, I thought it was incredibly brave in the first series. It was about the making of a soap opera, and then you'd actually see the soap opera.
Yeah, it was brave in a way that... yeah, I mean, it was brave in a way that it didn't serve it in the end, because nobody watched the... I think the soap opera got very low viewing figures. And in fact, that was the main show. The main thing was the soap opera, and our show was like a little offshoot of it, really. And
You were like conjoined twins.
yeah, so the idea was that we were making we were the team
Yeah.
making the soap opera, but it sort of ended up undermining the soap opera, really, because when you watched, because our show was funny and sort of making fun of making a soap opera, so then you couldn't really watch the soap opera afterwards and take it seriously. I wish none of us realised that before when we were making it, though. That was the odd thing.
This would be a really good way to get rid of some soap operas. We could make like a behind the scenes of EastEnders.
If people from the One show said, well, we go
Go for
really
them.
well, and then that EastEnders thing comes on, maybe we should lose that. It's not funny. They don't have any good guests.
But it's a funny thing that whenever you're making something, I don't know if you feel like this, but when you're making something, you always think it's brilliant. You know, it's very weird. So
I don't know about this.
Never
Hold
trust. No,
Are you saying this isn't brilliant? Is that
I'm saying I don't know whether it's brilliant or not. I'd say I really enjoyed making it. But I just think, a lot of the time you go on and, we're talking about plugging, aren't we? Sort of, you go on and you go, you never trust actors or people who are in things, because they always think what they're in is brilliant. I mean, you sort of have to be able to act in it. So you have to believe, you have to really believe it. And afterwards, you watch it a couple of years later, you think, that's rubbish.
That was Ben Miller on Moving Wallpaper.
Absolute.
And Ben Miller is with us, plugging loads of stuff. Let's hope it goes a bit better than the Moving Wallpaper section.
That could have been the worst plug of all time.
I think it's up there. We'll certainly be putting it forward as a nominee. So, when I watched Moving Wallpaper last night, because unlike some people, I actually think it's good. They plugged Primeval, which is... You're looking at me like you've never heard of it. You're in that. That was you, wasn't it, in the trailer?
Yeah, it is. I'm in Primeval, which is this thing. It's a kids' show about dinosaurs that come back. I mean, it is quite amazing. I can't quite believe it when I'm saying it, but there is a show on TV about dinosaurs coming back from prehistoric times through a rip in the space-time continuum.
Yeah.
This is for
like
10-year-olds.
Jurassic Park meets Stargate.
Yeah, well, yeah,
That's
exactly. Yeah. So time-travelling dinosaurs, basically. And I play the boss. So basically, every week I have to do essentially the same thing.
What, the boss of the dinosaurs? Are you in a suit? I'm amazed I recognise you. Are you like Barney?
Right, guys. So some of us are going to eat flesh, and some of us are going to eat plants.
Oh, it's the raptors who are late. No, sorry, you're the boss of... I don't get that. Maybe you shouldn't tell the whole plot of Primeval.
Basically, there's a gang It's not. It's sort of
an anti-dinosaur.
There's a gang, an anti-dinosaur gang, and I'm in charge of them. So each week, there's a bit at the beginning where I say, one of these dinosaurs has got loose again. Go and sort it out. And then there's a bit in the middle where I go, what are you doing about these ruddy dinosaurs? And then at the end, I say either, what a shame we never got the dinosaur, or brilliant, well done. That's basically, and so. Well, I film it.
Ben Miller on Primeval. Do any good stuff there? Any stuff you like?
But it's,
it's
great, it's brilliant, it's the best thing ever on TV.
There's a girl who wanders around in pants a lot, isn't there, in Primeval?
There is, Hannah Spirit from S Club 7, yeah. Formerly of S Club 7. Nay, S Club 7. Now... Of Primeval. She's been doing this. This is like the third series.
Well, I like the sounds of it. The trailer looked good.
It's amazing. I mean, it does look. And they look amazing. We don't get actually to see any of that when we're doing it because it's all obviously done by computers. They have one or two little animatronic sorts of dinosaurs and things.
So would this, Emily? Would this apply to your phobia? Because it's human beings.
No, I don't mind that because it's not animation.
Right,
I don't mind CGI because it's that's approximating reality. It's cartoons. It's animation. Okay. It's very specific.
If you wanted a bit of a finer nuance on Emily's phobia, if it's approximating reality, i.e. dinosaurs coming to a rip in the time continuum into the modern day, that's all right. Okay. I'm certainly looking forward to it. Sorry, the producer started pointing at things. When he does that, I always get slightly frightened. We'll be back with more things that Ben's doing. I'm still holding out hope he's going to like one.
Absolute.
We've got a text from you from Rose, Ben. She says, I'm grown up, 38, and I liked Primeval, but didn't everyone die at the end of the last one?
I'm always a bit worried when people put their age in an email and they're sort of above...
You had said it was a child. You had said it was a child's programme to defend this woman.
Is she 38 and a half or 38 and a quarter? What was she saying?
Didn't everyone die at the end of the last
Yeah,
one?
they did, yeah. One of the main characters, Stephen, died, yeah. And, well, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. Chasing dinosaurs is dangerous. Somebody's got to die.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't, I know the people watching it are 10 and occasionally 38, but you've got to have a bit of.
But when she says everyone died, she means one person.
She means one person, but probably he was everything to her because he was a very sexy character. He was a very.
This is why Hamlet was never a series. Threw everything into the first episode. But I think the point is that it's not just for children that anyone can.
I guess so. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
there's a bit of there's a bit of drama as well. Yeah.
And of course, you're in a double act as well, Ben.
I'm in a double act
with Xander Armstrong.
Xander. Did you see in Horn and Corden that they called a really fat posh character Xander?
Ooh.
In the show? I thought that's really naughty. Do you think? That's quite. Don't you think?
That's deliberate, because not many Xanders.
I don't know a single other. I see you are probably you don't want to say Xander, do you? You can't. You can't do
it's
that.
just he's called Alexander.
Say it. Go on, say Xander.
No, but he's called Alexander.
This is giving me this is like posh perv. Of course, say
Alexander.
Say Xander. So say Alexander.
Alexander.
And now just say the last bit. Xander.
That sounds so wrong.
Yeah, but my problem is more that he calls himself Xander. Why doesn't he call himself Alex Armstrong? I mean, what is your full name, Benjamin?
No, Bennett.
Well, why do you don't call yourself Nett Miller? Have you seen Nett Miller and Xander Armstrong? You've done what most people do.
But it is quite it is a certain middle class thing to call to nickname by the end of the name. So my son's called Jackson, but we nickname him Sonny. That's quite a middle class thing to use the end of the name.
It's not middle class.
Oh, son from the Jackson. I see.
Do you see what I mean? So Xander is it's unquestionably a posh way to shorten your name. And I think the funny thing about his name is that it forces other people to speak in a posh way. And some people will refuse to say Xander, they'll only say Alex. Even if he says it's actually Xander, they'll still keep saying Alex. It always makes me laugh.
Oh, I've never called him. But I can't say, I'd never.
Well, you called him Alex.
I'd call him Xander, is what I would call him. even the beginning of Armstrong is giving me a chance to practice my art. I still would say Xander Armstrong. I call him Xander, he's never corrected me.
But what I'm saying is that's policy. That's a policy decision you've made. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
So when they call in Horn and Corden, I don't know anybody else. I'd never heard anybody else called Xander.
No.
And they're calling a posh character Xander, I've got to think that's
an attack.
You think they're going?
I don't know if it's an attack. Is it an attack?
And having watched
it's an attack. Is it an attack?
It's an attack.
It's probably an attack, isn't it?
There you go. Ben Miller on horn and chord.
Absolute.
So you're making a film about stand-up comedy.
I know, I'm really excited about this, because I did stand-up comedy for about 2 or 3 years. I was terrible at it, but when I first started, to get my equity card, the only way you could get it was by doing stand-up. And like a lot of actors, I did bad stand-up comedy, and I found it absolutely the most... it gave me such a respect for comedians and an absolute admiration for that world. And but also I met...
I think what was great about that, Ben, is you said that you had a respect for comedians and you said absolute twice in the same sentence. It was the perfect moment on this show.
Well, yeah. It really is an amazingly hard thing to do, to get up in front of an audience the first few times you do it. And to see people go through that myself, and see some of those people go on to become really, really great stand-up comedians. It was an amazing thing to do.
So is the film pro stand-up comedy then?
Oh yeah, it's about two guys who try to make it on the London stand-up circuit. They sort of meet in a provincial town, and they've got this dream of being stand-ups, and they move to London, they live in a squat, they start to try and get into clubs, and for people who don't know, the stand-up circuit is incredibly difficult to get into. I mean, the number of people trying to become stand-ups. Also, club owners don't want to they don't really want people who aren't going to hold the audience coming on stage and ruining their night, because it obviously affects it directly affects the takings of their club.
Gareth did that on Tuesday.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
And I actually was listening earlier when you talked about gig shame. I remember that so much. When you do a gig and it goes badly. I mean, in the early stages, you tend to get you get these there's things called open spots. You get to go on stage for 5 minutes and try out your material, and it's sort of like a taster for the owner of the club to see if you might then get a half spot, which is the first paid gig you can get, which is 10 minutes, and then you can get your full spot of 20 minutes. And the whole thing, from start to finish, can take you years to go from when you get your very first open spot to when you get your first paid gig. I mean, when you started, Frank, how long did it take you before you got a paid
Well, now you've
gig?
embarrassed me, because I started in December 88.
Yeah.
And December 87, and I got my first television show in April 88.
Well, that's amazing.
I didn't have any years of struggle.
But I bet you did tons and tons of gigs in that very short time.
I did every gig. I used to drive down to London, sleep in my car, do loads of unpaid gigs, but I became completely obsessed with it. I really wanted it so much.
Well, that's the key. Maybe it's not time then, it's number of gigs. But did you find there was a point at which...
Look, who's interviewing who here? I mean, for God's sake, they come on here, these actors.
But what I mean is there's a kind of I never experienced it, but I saw other comedians. That's what happened to other comedians, where they get a moment where something clicks and something changes, and they can.
Yeah, I remember that moment. I was on
happened?
stage in Edinburgh in this terrifying club where people actually throw in at the axe and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was about to go on, and I was so scared I kind of went through a fear barrier and came out the other end. It was a bit like Primeval. I went through a tear in the fear continuum.
Yeah.
And I went out there sort of, right, you just going to get it now. And I went at them.
Yeah.
And I absolutely brought the house down. It was a magical moment.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the end of the show. It's been great talking to you, Ben. You've been a fabulous guest.
It's been brilliant to be here. Thanks
and anyone who's listened to the show and emailed in and that, brilliant. This was Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I've got about 10 seconds to tell you how to get 2-for-1 tickets for Top Draw comedy nights near you, thanks to our friends at the TV channel Dave at absoluteradio.co.uk. Also, I've got to tell you about how you can win prizes while you're there too. I've run out of time, though.